Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right, good.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello all, this is Amy Harone, and we're going to get started in about 2 minutes, so stay tuned. Okay, hello everyone. This is Amy Harone. I'm with the Commercial Buildings Initiative within the Building Technologies Office at the Department of Energy. We are still having a lot of people log in, and so I'm going to take it slow here at the beginning to allow everyone to get on the line. I just want to let you all know that you are muted and that we won't be accepting questions during the webinar today. However, you can submit questions to the email address that will show several times throughout the webinar. So in case you're wondering, you are on the Funding Opportunity Announcement Informational Webinar. That would be FOA DE-FOA-0001084. This is coming out of the Building Technologies Office, Commercial Building Initiative. It is for technology deployment and demonstration. And I'm going to move on to the next slide now. Just a quick disclaimer that any information presented here really is just for informational purposes, and if there are conflicts, I would suggest that you refer to the FOA and or submit a question to clarify. Once again, since it looks like we have a critical mass of people registered today, my name is Amy Harone. I work in the Department of Energy's Commercial Buildings Integration Program. This funding opportunity is a product of a much larger group of DOE procurement, legal, program, and support staff. I'm just doing the webinar today. Today we're going to cover the mission of the Commercial Buildings Integration Team, our work in technology deployment and demonstration, the objectives of this technology demonstration and deployment opportunity, and then specifics and best practices on the process for submitting a funding opportunity application so that you can be successful. And in a few minutes, Ava Schur, who is the program manager for the Commercial Buildings team, is going to talk a little bit more about the mission. Once again, this webinar is for informational purposes only. For specific instructions, guidelines, requirements, information on what you should submit, how it should be submitted, the formatting, all of that is contained in the FOA document, and so I would refer you there. And once again, for those of you who are logging on now or have just logged on, we won't be answering questions live today. You can submit questions to the email address here, commercialbuildings@go.doe.gov. Those are answered and posted to EERE Exchange under our FOA 1084. So you can reference your question as well as others' questions. And we provide equal opportunity to everyone to understand. I am getting a few questions about the webinar here, and it will be posted as well as a recording on the DOE Building Technologies Office website, which is listed here. So you can reference that throughout the FOA application process. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ava Schur right now to talk a little bit about the Commercial Buildings Integration Team and our vision and our mission. Ava? Okay, Ava, are you on the line? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk through the Commercial Buildings Integration Team mission. And Ava, if you are able to get online, then are you there? Okay, well, okay, so the Commercial Buildings Integration Team is basically focused on commercial buildings within the VTO ecosystem. So we have teams that focus on research and development, the emerging technologies team. We have the codes and standards team, and then we have market stimulation, which happens through the residential program as well as the commercial buildings program. The mission of the Commercial Buildings Integration Team is to accelerate the voluntary uptake of significant energy performance improvements, and we do that by developing and demonstrating technology, tools, and solutions, i.e. deploying information at tools, solutions, data to remove barriers to investment and increase understanding of efficiency measures. By deploying and demonstrating these actionable products, we drive technologies into the commercial buildings marketplace. Some of the major initiatives that we have are data access and analysis, building rating tools, decision support tools, obviously technology demonstrations, new construction major renovations, workforce training and certification, energy management, and also we are doing the SOA. One piece of the puzzle is the commercial building technology deployment program, and the commercial building team looks at a variety of selection inputs and related deployment channels to develop a pipeline of technologies to drive market uptake. This pipeline of technologies is called the High Impact Technology Catalyst. You can see there what it is, what it does, how it does it. We create data, resources, and information through high-impact technology demonstrations and work to create work with our market partners to share and implement those solutions. The Better Buildings Alliance helps us create direct relationships between building owners, technology experts, and other stakeholders to better understand what drives building owners to implement technology energy savings measures, what barriers exist to implementing those, and what resources we can offer to help them take action and implement high-impact energy-saving technologies and solutions. You can see the technology teams, which are a part of the Better Buildings Alliance. These are experts from the national labs as well as experts from industry that work directly, like I said, with building owners on deployment of energy-saving technologies or high-impact technologies. One example of how we deploy technologies through the Better Buildings Alliance is the LEAP campaign. Currently, we have more than 300 million square feet of commitments for parking lot and parking structure retrofits through that campaign. And so this is just one piece of the puzzle, and the FOA is also one piece of the puzzle. We are very, very excited to offer this funding opportunity. I think it's a great one that will help us competitively identify, select, and fund the deployment of high-impact technologies, and also to create new deployment relationships with all of you and your partners to help us meet the larger mission of the Commercial Buildings team and the Building Technologies Office generally. In general, a funding opportunity announcement contains the objectives of the funding opportunity, or FOA, sets out the instructions for applicants like you, hopefully, what documents you need to submit, how to submit them, and the conditions associated with the funding that you would potentially receive if selected. Again, we call them FOAs. That's one of our acronyms. Before you apply, these are a few of the things that you should do in order to make sure that you are all set. We want you to register an EERE exchange. That's where you'll be submitting all of your documents. Forms and templates are available through that website, so you'll see a lot of forms in the upcoming slides about budgets and lobbying and other forms that we use in order to make our selection process consistent. Those will be available through EERE exchange. We also want you to make sure that you and any of your potential subrecipients have a DUNS number and a System for Award Management PIN or account. Please register with FedConnect. That's how we will issue Word documents in the long term, and grants.gov for updates on the FOA or amendments. So both grants.gov and EERE exchange deal with the FOA, and EERE exchange will be where you submit your information. Just a little bit more on your subcontractors or your subrecipients, that they should also have a DUNS and SAM registration. This is the schedule for this FOA. It was posted last Thursday. Our webinar is today. Concept papers are due on March 5th, on March 31st. Full applications are due on May 19th. We anticipate selection at the end of July. We will be finalizing these awards by the end of DOE's fiscal year, and so it is a fairly tight process, and we hope that you'll work hard with us to meet some of these deadlines and to produce really great projects. On the funding opportunity, we have $10 million available. That doesn't necessarily mean we will fund $10 million worth of projects if we don't receive qualified applications. Each award can be $500,000 to $3 million. These will be cooperative agreements. In other words, DOE is your partner in this project, and we will maintain substantial involvement with you as you implement the award. The budget periods are 3 to 5 years, and the cost requirement is the cost share requirement is 50%. That means that for each invoice that you submit to be reimbursed, you will have to show 50% cost share. DOE national laboratories are not eligible for this funding, and building owners also are not eligible. The objective of this FOA is to demonstrate and deploy technologies and strategies that save energy in order to generate data, case studies, information, resources, you name it, in order to accelerate the adoption of technologies through deployment channels. Demonstrations should produce information so that building owners and operators can assess the risk and performance of the technology that is being demonstrated. Technologies will be coupled with scale-up and deployment through deployment partners in order to significantly reduce energy consumption in the U.S. And so we're looking beyond just one building at a time. We're looking at demonstrations in multiple buildings and then scale up on in a larger region or even across the United States. As a part of this award, we will be matching demonstrations with national labs for third-party performance verification. We'll also offer the opportunity to demonstrate or to obtain field site demonstrations with private and public commercial buildings. Within the FOA, you'll see that we have identified specific technologies that we are interested in seeing demonstrations of. Those are listed here. They are also listed in the FOA. This is by no means an exclusive list of technologies that we are looking for. However, these are technologies that we are most interested in at this time based on our analysis of technologies, their footprint, market readiness, and other factors. This is another description of the goals of this FOA and how it fits into our larger picture of work within the commercial buildings integration team. Ideally, what would happen here is that we identify new high-impact technologies and partners to help us deploy those technologies. We want to match those technologies and partners with resources to enable deployment, and so that would be private and public building sites to demonstrate, third-party measurement and verification of the technology, and then collecting the data information and developing resources, tools, and data in order to deploy to the larger market. Cultivating the path to the market for these high-impact technologies involves working on a larger scale with our partners, with other federal agencies, and stakeholders more generally. So this is what we envision a successful applicant looking like, and the criteria within the FOA hopefully describes this. Basically what we're looking for are market viable but innovative, high impact underutilized technologies or building energy saving strategies. We're looking for that coupled with deployment partners, so those who have existing channels within markets to help us get information out about these technologies. And we also are looking for replicable applications of these technologies or strategies. So how do we take these technologies out to market, replicate them more broadly to achieve that national energy savings? Included as part of this will be a market assessment and deployment plan, which should identify your best market sectors and channels in order to achieve that market uptake. And moving on to the next slide, our criteria for review hopefully reflects some of what I just said. The review criteria on concept papers is 50% on the impact of proposed technologies relative to the state of the market, as well as the overall technical and market impact merit. If you look at the FOA, you'll see a lot more explanation of what these mean within that. And our concept papers are going to be 2 pages long with answers to a lot of questions that are listed in the FOA. Once you submit your concept papers, we'll provide feedback through exchange and also an encourage or discourage for further submissions. The full application review criteria includes technical merit, innovation, and impact, which is worth 30%, your deployment plan, which is worth 50%, and your team and resources, so qualifications, partners, and the available resources that you bring to the table, 20%. Again, we will be providing feedback through exchange. You'll have an opportunity to respond to that feedback in exchange as part of the response to review or comments period, and you will submit all of that in exchange. Once we have completed all of the concept paper reviews, the full application reviews, and evaluated responses to review or comments, we will go through our selection process and issue award selections. A little bit more on the concept paper submittal requirements. A concise description of the concept, the team, and the market where you think your technology or your strategy applies. That should be 2 pages, no more. You can also submit additional information to support your proposal in the form of data, references, or other information. That can be 1 page maximum. Full application submittals include all of these, which are outlined in much more detail in the FOA. First, the cover page, a 2-page project overview, 7 pages of technical description and your deployment plan, a work plan, which is basically how your plan for implementing, what your time frames are, any major milestones, technical qualifications and resources. If you have demonstration building sites, we want you to list those. We also want you to let us know if they are historic buildings so that we can let our environmental review team know that this is coming down the pipe, and we will take those steps as necessary in order to do historic preservation review. The SF424 is the application for federal assistance. It's a form that you can obtain through EERE Exchange that you fill out and submit through Exchange as part of the application process. The budget document is the SF424A. We are also asking for a budget justification, which is details on the specific categories contained with the budget, such as travel, man-hours, contractual costs, overhead, as well as fringe benefits. A summary abstract for public release, which would not contain any intellectual property or other information that you don't want shared more broadly. A summary slide, which will be used for overviewing the selection committee, and the U.S. manufacturing plan, which is basically a plan that you will submit that will be evaluated by reviewers, as well as data management plan, a similar use of a planning mechanism basically on how you will use data. Again, site and historic district confirmation. So if you are, if you have buildings that you would like to demonstrate in, we want to know if they are historic, and so that we can start taking steps to get that analysis done. And then the SFLLL, which is the lobbying disclosure agreement. And again, I would just mention that there's a lot more information about what these are, how to submit them, the page length, the formatting requirements contained within the FOA. Responses to reviewer comments can be submitted. They're optional in exchange after we release the reviewer comments to the full applications. And so you can respond to the comments. You cannot supplement your application as part of this. However, you can respond directly to the comments that are issued by reviewers. And you can also submit additional reference or data information necessary to respond to those comments. And these are new to our FOAs this year, so in case you've applied before, I just wanted to run through these quickly and point them out to you so that you are familiar and aware of the new requirements, and that you can go specifically to the sections within the FOA to get information that you need in order to submit a good quality plan here. So first of all, technical data will be available to DOE, and we do want to distribute to public. This is what deployment is. So if that's an issue, then I would encourage you to ask a question about it. And I'm not sure how negotiable this is, but we'll consider it. Also, we can accept inventions so that you can apply for a patent. So we are looking for market-ready technologies that can be purchased. I do not anticipate any R&D projects being selected under this FOA. However, if there is intellectual property developed, we do have methods to accommodate you in achieving your protection. On the data management plan, we do want that submitted as part of the full application. That it will be reviewed as a part of the full application by reviewers. It covers data sharing and data preservation as it's developed throughout the project implementation period. There is much more information about this in FOA Appendix D. I would encourage you to go there and review that, since data will be a very big piece of this FOA and projects that are awarded under this FOA. The U.S. manufacturing plan, similar to the data management plan, will be submitted as part of the full application and evaluated by reviewers. This is so that we can understand better what your commitment to support U.S. manufacturing is, and what the results of this funding will do to support U.S. manufacturing. Once you have submitted your U.S. manufacturing plan, it will become part of the terms and conditions of this award. There is a point at which you could renegotiate the manufacturing plan submitted as part of the application process. However, in general, you should consider your manufacturing plan to be what you will follow during the award implementation portion of your project. Again, the intellectual property management plan will be due within 30 days of selection. This is really how you will work with your team and what you will do with the IP that is developed between you and your team members. Again, I would encourage you to look more closely to the FOA for what the intellectual property management plan will look like, and you will have 30 days after selection to develop that and to ask more questions of the IP Council here at DOE on what that all would mean and what that might look like. Okay, and as I mentioned before, cost share is 50%. It was required at 50% here. There's a long list of what cost share means in the FOA and what is eligible as cost share. This is definitely a hard piece of any award agreement, and so I would encourage you to think very thoroughly through this before submitting your application. What cost share you'll be providing? Is it eligible under DOE's terms and conditions and under the FOA lists and information provided? Is it verifiable from your records? It should not be a contribution from any other federal project or program, so funding from other grants and agreements is not eligible as cost share. It should be something that you need in order to complete the project or program, not something that you would have done even though we did not award you this grant. So it needs to be cost share to support the development and successful implementation of the award if you are selected under this FOA. And there are cost principles that are associated with cost share, as well as any other reimbursable costs under these funding agreements. And you can look to FOA Appendix B for more information on that. Once again, I'm just going to reiterate that cost share is 50% for these, and so we are looking for a partnership here, and that we do have requirements associated with that cost share, so I would review those closely. Okay, just a few tips on how to submit a successful application, since it is fairly complicated. First of all, don't wait till the last minute to submit. We suggest that you submit 48 hours before the due date. Submitting at the last minute never ends up well, and I think that's a risky undertaking to do. Make sure that you have submitted everything that you are required to in terms of format, page limits, documents, forms, etc. We will do a compliance review before submitting to reviewers, and if your application does not have all of the required documents, then it will be deemed non-compliant. So triple check that you have everything there before you submit. After you hit the submit button and make changes, it unsubmits your application. So if you go in and submit and then change, then you have to submit again. These are all tips and tricks involved with Exchange. Also, make sure that you follow the formatting page length and other criteria that are stated and outlined in the FOA. There's a lot of it there, so please follow that. And we have provided the milestone summary table, which you should use as part of a compliant application that will help you also, I think, through award negotiations and through actually implementation of your award. Once again, don't wait until the last minute to submit. It's a tricky process, and we encourage you to take your time and make sure that you have everything put together correctly, that you've checked all the boxes, and you've done it a very thorough job. Once awards are reviewed and selection is complete, you will receive a letter congratulating you on receiving an award under this FOA. We have very rapid award negotiation time frame. We will be looking in August and September, so please plan for that. And we will be communicating on a daily basis. If you cannot meet rapid turnaround times, we may terminate the award negotiation. We want you to be very responsive during that period because it's important to get all of the right numbers and the scope of work and all of the documents submitted correctly. It takes some iteration. We want a list of sites for environmental review, especially since we're dealing with buildings here, and if they're historic properties, there is a little bit more review that takes place that adds time to the negotiation process. That's why we're asking you to think about this up front. DOE may or will conduct an assessment of financial and project management capabilities. This is part of our assessment of your application submittal. This is also part of your responsiveness during the awards negotiation time. We want you to know who your subrecipients and vendors are. We want them to have a DUNS number. We want to know what amount of money they'll be receiving under the award, their scope, and actually their budget, as well as their budget justification, what their milestones are. And of course, again, all of the intellectual property that will be shared with them, how you'll manage that, how you'll manage their data, et cetera, et cetera. Once again, on the cost share piece, please ensure that your cost share requirements are eligible. This is something we'll be reviewing in more detail during the award negotiations process. Documentation of 50% cost share will be required on an invoice basis. This is also a new requirement this year in case you've had other awards. When you invoice, you will need to document that you have provided that 50% cost share for reimbursement of your expenses. The award document contains a lot of clauses. It's a very long set of terms and conditions, which also includes other documents as well. So first of all, you'll have an assistance agreement form, which summarizes all of the information associated with the award. Who is the primary investigator? What is the award amount? What are the award budget periods or dates? It includes the special terms and conditions, intellectual property provisions, again, the statement of project objectives, plus the milestone summary table, which should outline your milestones, your schedule, and your goals under the project generally. The award document contains the reporting checklist and instructions. There is a special reporting requirement associated with this FOA. I would encourage you to look at the FOA for more information on that. We will ask for budget information, and we will include budget information as part of the award document. National policy assurances are included, program regulations, your approved application, and DOE financial assistance regulations all make up the final award document, which ends up being quite long and detailed. And so I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with some of these things prior to award negotiations. Okay, so that was, I didn't think we were going to take the whole hour. That was much shorter than an hour. I hope that we provided you with information that will help you in submitting a successful application. All of the information you need is in the FOA document. You can submit questions. They will be answered and posted at Exchange. Concept papers are due on March 31st. They should be no more than 3 pages. We want you to be as detailed as possible, but also as concise as possible, concise enough that we can still understand the concept and the benefits of what you're proposing. This webinar will be recorded and available on the BTO website. And once again, if anything presented here is in conflict with what you read in the FOA, go with what's said in the FOA or ask the question. If you submitted a question, we will be submitting it to the commercial buildings at go.doe website to be posted there. DOE, the FOA number is 1084. And I think that wraps it up for us today. Thank you all very much for participating. We look forward to your applications. Good luck. And maybe we'll see some of you as award selection. All right, have a great day and enjoy your extra half hour.